Hi, everybody. I have so much to do with you folks today. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to start showing you some things. What we have here, just my desktop. I have things in stacks. In other words, like I have more than one screenshot, but what I did to clean up my desktop is I right clicked. Now, how do you right click? Right click is just a way to get another menu. If you have a mouse, it's an actual right, you click on the right side of the mouse. Maybe you have your trackpad set up to right click. I can show you how to do that too. But if you're just using your keyboard, you would hold control and then click somewhere on the keyboard. And that gives you those menus that pop up. And I just said use stacks. If I'm not using stacks, everything just spreads out the way it is. But when I want to clean it up for a presentation like this, I just go use stacks, and then my screenshots are going to be layered on top of each other. They're going to be sorted by kind. It's all set. That's what stacks are. They're just taking your desktop and kind of layering things on top of each other that are the same. So I want to first talk to you about Spotlight. And Spotlight is something that you may not be able to see on my screen. Spotlight is at the very top of your screen in the menu bar. It looks like a magnifying glass. And I can click on that and I can type just about anything I want to type, and it will search my entire computer, but it also searches for apps from the App Store, and it searches the web. So you can see that I have my first hit was an application that I have on my computer. And then it has all kinds of other things. Like I could even go, this is going to bring me out to the web. It will also, you can use it like a calculator. So in Spotlight, I can do, let's say I want to do 7 divided by 4, and it will tell me that's 1.75. I can also do like currency exchange. So if I want to know, I'm going to Canada and I want to know what the exchange is, or if I'm going to France and I want to know what the exchange is, I can find that out right in the Spotlight. Okay. So that's that little magnifying glass. The next thing I want to tell you about is force quit. Control Alt Delete on PC, if you're used to a PC, brings up a list of your apps that you have open and allows you to quit those apps. Well, we don't have that on here. What we use for force quitting something that just won't go away, or I just need to get it to close and I can't figure out how to close it. On that, you do Command, Option, and Escape. And on my screen, it shows me a list of all the things I have open, and then I can choose to force quit any of the ones that I have open. Maybe I have pages open and it won't quit for me and I can't get rid of it. This is just another way to do that. So that's force quit. Sometimes we have to use that. The next thing I want to show you is the possibilities of your trackpad. If you have one of the MacBook Airs and you've been confused by what's happening when you touch your trackpad, you're not alone. If this is the first time you've had a MacBook Air, when I first got mine, that trackpad drove me crazy. Every time I touched it, it did something. Well, that's because there are so many possibilities of what you can make it do. In System Preferences, there's a whole menu for just the trackpad. So here's my System Preferences, and I went to trackpad. Now, the nice thing about it, I love the little video that they show. So whatever it is I want to know, like if I want a secondary click, that's that right click that I told you about. You can set your trackpad to do that. If you want your trackpad to click like a mouse does, so when you tap on it, it clicks on whatever's on the screen, your trackpad will do that for you. Okay, so it tells you, you check the box and it shows you the motion that you're going to have to use. So for instance, and there's point and click, there's scroll, there's even more gestures. So let's say I want to learn how to zoom using my trackpad, because that's really important when we're showing stuff to kids. Sometimes we have to zoom. So if I want to zoom in, I would do the opposite of a pinch. If I want to zoom in, so I'm going in. If I want to zoom out, so this is zoom in, goes closer on the picture. This is zoom out. If you have that box checked, and if you can't remember how to do it, you can always come back here and it'll show you how to do it. And then there's even more things that you can do. You can get your notification center. You can swap between pages that you're working on, get your Launchpad to show up, all kinds of things that you can do that they teach you how to do right here. So system preferences is a good place to go when you trying to figure out that touchy trackpad that you have. So I'm going to close that for a minute. The next thing I want to do is show you a neat little trick on previewing files. Let's say I have all these files and I'm not sure which one I wanted to open, right? Sometimes your desktop, I will be honest, I clean up my desktop before I do a presentation. So this is not how my desktop generally looks, okay? I generally have a lot of stuff on it. So if I'm not sure which file I'm looking at, like all those little tiny screenshots, and I'm not really sure which one, if I click on it once, so I'm not opening it yet, I'm just clicking on it once. If I do that and then I hit the space bar, I get a preview that pops up. Okay, now I know what that is. And if that's not the one I want, I can use my arrow keys to then see the preview of whatever's next. So let's say I'm going to go down to the next thing, and it'll show me a preview of that. So all I did was I selected it by clicking on it once, and then I used my arrow key. I hit the space bar. So select it and then hit the space bar, and that pops up that preview, which is really great if you've got a lot of stuff on your desktop and you're not sure what it is you're looking for. Then you can open it. Okay, then you click on it and it really opens in the program it's supposed to open in. That's just a preview of what you have going. If you've already set up Touch ID, this is fine. You guys might not have Touch ID. I don't know. So if we go to System Preferences, some of you may have it, some of you may not. If you see this little red fingerprint in System Preferences, then that means your computer is Touch ID enabled. If you don't have it, it's okay. You just don't have Touch ID. But if you've wondered, if you've gone to Touch ID and it says, let's see, I'll add another fingerprint. Okay, I got to put my password in so it knows it's me. Hopefully I remember it. That would be embarrassing in front of you all. Okay, and then it says, place your finger, rest your finger on the Touch ID repeatedly. Well, the first time I was doing it, I was going, okay, but that's the screen. How is that working? It's not that. It's in the upper right-hand corner of your keyboard, actually. It's a little square key that doesn't look like it has anything to do. That's your Touch ID. And so I just put my finger on it. I'm going to do my thumb, and I just keep putting my finger on it, and I turn my finger a little bit so all of that fills in. So it knows my finger no matter what area I put on there. So I don't know if you guys have Touch ID. Okay, so now the next time I want to sign into my computer, I can use my finger on that button. All I do is put my finger on that button and it logs me in. So that's if you have Touch ID. Oh, here's one. You are really gonna appreciate this. If I have something up, I'm gonna bring my notes up, okay? Because I have notes for this, believe it or not. If I have a letter that I know there's an accent key for, but and the combination is escaping me what I have to press. If I just press the key and hold it, it shows me the options, and then I can press the number. So whatever accent I want, if I press number 2, it then gives me that accent key. So if I know it's some form of E, right? I hold the E key down. It shows me all the different possible accents on the E, and then I just press the number of the accent that it was. Want to do that again? Want me to do that again? So let's see, what other one has accent marks? I. So if there's an I just hold it down, and then let's say I want the number, the 5th one over. I can pick up my finger and type the 5, and there it is. All right, so I probably should have increased my font there so you could see that really well, but let me just increase that. So there you go. I got those accent marks just by holding the key down and then typing the number next to it. So if I did A, I hold the A down and I want number 5. I can now pick up my fingers and then do a 5, and it shows me that. So those are accent marks. There's other ways you can get to them, but that's just the easiest way I find. Just hold the key down that is associated with that. The next thing I want to show you is called split screen. There's a little trick at the end of it, but it's not bad. When we have, I have to open another item. So when we have two things open that we want to split between two different sides of our screen, for instance, okay? So let's say I want to have my notes for this meeting on one side, and then I want Chrome open because I'm going to go do some stuff on the web at the same time. I usually hold this green button down to hit full screen, right? But on your MacBooks now, you can hold it down and then it gives you a choice. Do you want to go to full screen, or do you want this window to go to the left side of the screen or the right side of the screen? So I go to the left side of the screen with this one, and then it says, oh, here are some other possibilities you might want for the right side of the screen. And I click on that and it goes to the right side of the screen. I also have this button in the middle that I can choose how much acreage or land I give to each side. So I can, maybe I don't want to see very much of that. Maybe I want to see a lot of it. So I just grab that little gray button in the middle and move it left or right. When I get out of this, that's the tricky part. When I get out of this, whichever one I close goes back to its regular size, the other one pops out to full screen. So if I'm going to close Chrome, for instance, so I hit the red button. Now I'm not closing it. What I'm doing is getting it out of split screen. So when I do that, notice what happens to Notes. Notes all of a sudden goes full screen. The benefit is you've got two windows and you can work in each window. So if you're showing something to students, but you also need to have notes up that you're talking to them about that. Or if you're entering grades, but you also need to have Google Classroom up or Seesaw up. If you're taking notes on a video, you can have the video playing on one half of the screen and you can have your notes open on the other half of the screen, video still running, and you can type in the notes section. So split screen is very handy. I want to show you the preview app because I think a lot of people don't take advantage of what the preview app has to offer. And I'm going to show you a little bit about that. I am going to open this image. Now, this is an image that somebody sent me of the shortcut keys that they use. I'm going to send you this image. So don't worry about copying it all down. We're even going to talk about some of them in a minute. But notice that this has opened in preview. Preview is the piece on the Mac that allows you to do things with images, okay? Now, sometimes we need to resize images because they're just too big. So it's slow for our kids to load them. So we can resize here. We can annotate here. That's the thing I use preview for the most. I can, if I don't have any annotation tools, I can click on this little pencil here and it shows me all my annotation tools. So I could put, if I'm looking at student work, I can save it as an image or a PDF, pull it up here, and then I can draw on it. I can write comments on it with a text box. If I'm making a diagram for kids, I could pull up, like the basics of a diagram. Maybe we need to talk about the different bones, okay? So I can bring up a skeleton and then I can draw lines around the skeleton for the kids to write the names on. So I can make worksheets in here by annotation. And you can use text boxes, you can draw. Stamp is a new thing. So it lets you put, like, if you need to put check marks or X's, maybe you're having them do a close. You've got some text and you want to blank out certain spots. You can put boxes over the words. So you could like put a box over this word here and it would go away. Okay. You would be hiding that word and then the kids would have to fill in the word, fill in the blanks. So you could create that here. I don't need that box. So I am going to undo. Undo is one of my favorite things because I have to undo a lot of the things that I do. And the shortcut key that works in almost every program for undo is Command Z. Some programs let you do it infinitely, all the way back to the beginning. Some only let you do it like 3 times, okay? But Command Z is, honestly, it's my favorite key combination. I use it all the time. Okay, So other things that you can use in preview, you can also do your signature in preview. So if I have to add a signature to a document, you know, like those things that come from the business office and they want a signature, or my mileage and they want a signature, but I want to hand it in electronically. Well, I have saved my signature and I can add it. In preview, you write your name on a piece of white paper, you hold it up to the camera, and it captures your signature and it saves it as an image file. Now, obviously, you only want to do this on a computer that you own, right? That not that you own, but that is only yours. Nobody else is going to use. And then when you're annotating, you can just go to that annotation tool. So let me go to annotate here. Ah, there it is, signature. So you can see my signature right there. So all I have to do is click on that and it pops right into the document. Okay. And then I can move it around. I can resize the image. And it was as simple as writing my name on a piece of white paper, because when you go to that annotation tool, so let me go to annotation again, it just says signature and then it says manage signature. So it will ask me, do I want to create a signature? Yes. I click create a signature and then it says sign your name on white paper, and then you hold it up so that's the only thing the camera sees, and it will, plain white paper is what it takes. Okay. We're going to clear that out, but it's this little, looks like a John Hancock right there. Okay. So you can add your signature. When you save it, you can save it as a smaller file. That's really helpful. In some cases, you're asked to save it as a smaller file. And you can also change the file type. So if I want to save this is a JPEG. If I need it as a PDF, because something only accepts PDF, I can do that here. So preview is really important. All right. The other thing that sometimes we have to do is make help videos for our kids, right? And there's a program called Quicktime on your machine. I'm going to go to the spotlight, remember? I'm going to hit on the spotlight and I'm going to go Quicktime. And when I click on it, this pops up. Let's say I want to do a screen recording on how to use Quicktime, which is really weird, but I'm going to go to File, New, Screen Recording, but I could do an audio recording too. And the kids can do these on their iPads. They can do audio recordings too, but I can do an audio recording if I just want to send them a voice track, or I can do a movie recording, which then takes my camera. So I can't do one right now because my camera is being used by Zoom. But let's say I want to send a quick hi to some kids that are in quarantine. I can do a new movie recording. Hi, how you doing? We miss you so much. And then have each kid come up and say, hi, or can't wait till you're back, or we practiced our 3 times tables today, or whatever they want to say to the person in quarantine. And then that comes out as a little video and you can send it to the student that's not there with you. So that's QuickTime Player. Once it opens, there's nothing on the screen other than what I just had there to show you that you're actually in QuickTime, except for the fact that it says QuickTime Player in the top left-hand corner. So it may look like QuickTime hasn't opened to you, but you would go File, New, whatever it is you're trying to do. So that's just a way to quickly record your voice or the video from your computer or what's on your screen. So let's say you're trying to show somebody at home how to do something and you want to send it to them as a video. You can do a new movie recording, aim your computer at the whiteboard or at the paper that you're using. Just turn around and say, okay, so this is what we're doing today. When you make a lowercase a, you start here, and then you send that movie recording off to the student. And they can still hear your voice and know that you're helping them out, whether they're at home in quarantine or not. So the other thing, I know there's a lot. So keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to tell you my favorite keyboard shortcuts. So the first one is Command Z, undo, right? The next one is Command F. So if I'm in a document somewhere, let's say I'm on a web page and I'm going to go to this story right here. So there's a TikTok challenge. I don't know if you guys know this or not. It's called Smack a Teacher. What it is, kids are being challenged to go up to a teacher and film themselves smacking them. So let's say I'm looking at some things here, and I see this story. Oh, I'm not going to get a whole story, but let's say I'm in a story and I want to find a certain word. If I do Command F, a window pops up and I can type in a word and it'll show me where that word shows up in the story. So if you're reading a book with kids online, and let's say they say, I'm not sure how to say this word, and they spell it to you, you can find it really quickly by doing that find. If you're reading a document yourself for like professional development or something, and it's a long document, like some of the special ed guidelines are really long, or the main statutes. I use this when I look through the main statutes sometimes. I do Command F, find the exact word that I'm looking for. So if you do a lot of reading of I'm going to get rid of USA Today. Also, when you're in Chrome, if you hold the back button down, it gives you a list of the sites you were at. There's another little tip. Instead of going back, you just hold the back button down, then you get to choose from all the things that you went to. So a little tip. The next thing would be if you have a bunch of things and you want to select them all, let's say you're doing a drawing or something, Command A selects everything. So if you want to change the font in a paper that you've done that's 2 pages long, Command A, and then that selects everything. Speaking of typing, a single click puts your cursor someplace, right? A double click will select a word. A triple click will select even more than that. So let me go to one of my documents, and here we go. So if I double click, it's going to click the word. If I triple click, it's going to click the line. Or if this was a paragraph, because it's a bulleted list, it's only going to click one line. So the more times you click in a row, the more material you're going to select. So if you've got a paragraph of information and you just want to change the font in that paragraph, try a triple click and see how much it selects. It's pretty cool. If I have a couple of different things open and I want to see what I have open, I can hit the F3 key. So in the row where the escape is, if I hit the F3 key, all the things that I have open are going to show up. So I have notes open right now. Let me open Chrome in this window. Let me open something that'll open quick, self-service in this window. Okay, so I've got all these things open. If I want to go back to my notes, I can quickly hit F3 and say, oh, there's my notes right there, and just click on it. There are other ways you can do that on your trackpad too, but that's just the easiest way for me. And if you look at the F3 key, it has these little squares on it, right? And that's what it's showing you, that's what's going to happen. If I want to just see my desktop, see, I've got a lot of things open right now. If I just want to see my desktop, if I hold the function key down, which is the FN key, and I'm going to talk about that key again in just a second, lower left-hand corner of your keyboard. If I hold that key down and I hit F11, this is one I use a lot. That's why I remember it. Everything goes away and I just see my keyboard. Function F11 brings everything back. So when I'm trying to find something and all my apps are in the way, I just hold the function key, FN, or it has a globe on it now. I don't know if yours does or not. And then F11 and poof, that goes away. It doesn't mean it's closed or anything. It just means it's pushed out of the way, but I can click on anything on my desktop and open it. Because, I want more confusion in my life. So I'm going to just add one more thing. So that FN key also starts dictation. If I press that FN key twice, I'm going to put my cursor right here after this, and then I'm going to press the FN key twice. A little microphone pops up, and then it starts dictation in whatever program I'm in, period, new line. Usually it starts a new line too when I say new line. I can do exclamation point, space, usually. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's a little tricky. But the nice thing is kids can do this when they're writing, because sometimes, and it has a certain time limit on it, just so you know. So kids can do this when they're writing, because a lot of times they can speak their thoughts easier than writing them down. And then they would have to go back and do some editing, right? So I just showed you speech to text when I did that FN key twice. Well, in your settings, you also have speech to text. so kids can have their work read back to them. And when you hear your work, I can do space. Usually, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes a little tricky. I'm going to know that's not right. I'm going to know I have to go back in and edit that. So here I double click, triple click. Look at that. Selects the whole paragraph with a triple click. And it's the same speed. Instead of click, click, you're doing click, click, click. The other thing, 1 minute, is screenshot. You guys know how to do a screenshot in case you need to do one. So you can do Command 3, takes the whole image. So Command 3, Shift, Command 3, takes the whole image. There it is down the corner. Shift, Command 4 gives me a crosshair, but there's a little trick there. If I hit the Option key, if I hit the space bar, it gives me a camera instead. So I still did the Command Shift 4, but it gives me a camera, and that allows me to go from window to window to decide what I want to take a picture of. Okay. I took a blank picture because there was nothing in the window. Okay. I hope the rest of your day goes great. Bye. Thank you.